Hello everyone, welcome to Conversations with Sakina. In today's video we're going to look at a cold case, a missing 10-year-old boy from 1958 who lived in Colorado. And this story came from MrBallen's YouTube channel, from the video 3 People Taken by Forest Creature, Missing 411, Part 6. I'll put that link in the description box below in case you want to hear more details about Bobby Bizup and his disappearance. MrBallen tells a really good story. So what we know about Bobby is that he was 10 years old in 1958. He lived in Colorado. He was almost totally deaf, so he wore a hearing aid, and he belonged in a family that was extremely devout Catholic. So in 1958, they sent Bobby to a Catholic camp for boys at the Rocky Mountain National Park to a place called St. Malo Church. And St. Malo Church, this camp, was located right at the base of Mount Meeker. So if the boys went up the mountain, they could easily look down and see their camp and find their way back. Plus, there was a river that they could fish in that also came back to the camp. So if they got lost, they could find the river and follow it down to their camp for boys. On August 15th, 1958, around 6 p.m., Bobby was fishing in that river on the mountain, and one of the camp counselors went up to gather the boys to bring them back down for dinner. And the camp counselor saw that Bobby recognized what he wanted and started packing up his fishing gear. So acknowledged that he needed to come down, and the counselor saw him start walking back down to camp. The counselor then turned his back and continued down the trail back to camp, knowing that Bobby and the other boys would follow. When the counselor got down to the bottom, he turned around, but there was no sign of Bobby, and he thought that was a little strange, so he went back up the trail, retraced his footsteps, and did not find Bobby anywhere. Came back down and asked some of the other counselors to help him look, but after 30 minutes, they didn't find any sign of Bobby. Authorities were alerted, and a massive search was begun that included 300 plus people, including the military. But after 10 days, they called it. They could not find any sign of Bobby at all. The counselors themselves continued looking in their off hours, just on the barest chance that they would find Bobby. But a year later, Bobby was found by 3 of the camp counselors in an area that was super hard to get to. And all they found was Bobby's hearing aid, some bits of clothing, and some bones. That was it. So what we're going to do today is look into this cold case. And I'm still calling it a cold case because even though they found what they believe was Bobby, are things really as they seem? So we're going to charge these Lenormand cards before we lay out the Grand Tableau and do the method of distance to find our information. This is the purely simple Lenormand deck. It is a design of my own and is not for sale. So we're charging the child card as Bobby Bizup. The man is going to be the counselors. The bear will be a wild animal, obviously of some sort that may have carted him off. Sasquatch, a bear. The woman is going to be a third party that nobody knows about that may have taken him. And then we have UFOs and aliens, which seems to be a big part of a lot of these missing people with these layouts. So I'm going to put these cards in the deck, shuffle really well, and when I've got the layout done, I will come back and we will get started. Okay, so there we have the layout. And the first thing that we're going to do is look at the cards that we charged and find out where they are. So we have Bobby. We have the counselor card. We have the third party card. We have the bear card, or the animal or Sasquatch. And we have the alien cards, or card. So with the method of distance in the Lenormand layout here, the Grand Tableau, here is Bobby. All of his very near cards are right here. Then his near cards are here. Everything else over this way is considered far and really does not apply, except with certain exceptions. So we can say that there was no third party, no aliens this time, the way that it looks anyway, and that the counselor did not do it, or counselors did not do it. Although this one still may take a little bit of an odd twist. So I feel like the stars card is kind of a guidance card. And I feel like this is something that says the situation that took place for Bobby Bizup was in the stars, so to speak. And I'll explain that a little bit more. To have him removed at that specific time. And this hidden knowledge book, you might call that the hidden plan, hidden life plan. Or even for some, possibly the Akashic records in this case. It is hidden knowledge no matter what. So it wouldn't have been known. Maybe subconsciously it would be known for Bobby, but not certain, okay? But it was guided for him to go at this time. So I feel like Bobby's, again, with the guidance, it was in the stars for him to go to that Catholic camp, to leave his family, because that's what they believed was best for him for that summer. I feel as though it was all written already. Now, as we look at Bobby's card here, well, first let's go here. The 4 center cards. Bobby was cut off from the counselors, even though they were committed to keeping him safe. They were loyal to keeping all of these kids safe. And, you know, with the house card and the tree card, both in their house spots. So we've got numbers on these cards. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then continues on. But whatever card falls in there is the number that's there. So card house 1 has card 16. Here we have 4 and 5, both in their house spots. And this is very important because it tells a lot about this Catholic camp. In other words, if you had any doubts that the counselor, somebody took him or did something to him, the house card is the safety and security, and the tree card is the well-being of. That is what the well-being of these children was a part of every camp counselor's brain. It's all they thought about. Bobby's security was cut off from these counselors. And I almost feel here, as I continue on with that line from the top 3, is that this was something that was in the stars. He was going to disappear. There was no doubt about it. And he was found. His bones were found, which we have the coffin right here, which is why the card is close. However, all the details are not known. He should have been secure. He should have been very healthy, very well off, but instead he ended up taking a journey. And this journey is kind of a repetitive process. And those in the higher up institutions, and I'm not talking specifically the camp, but those in the higher up, even whoever takes care of the mountains, they know something, because this repeats. So when we go over here to the bear, and I said the bear is a wild animal, Sasquatch, a bear. This is the solution. This key says that a creature took Bobby from an outdoor setting and pretty much ended his life the way that it looks. Okay, we might have to change some things here the more that I look at this. Okay, from the guess is that something very large, some wild animal, took Bobby. That's what it's looking like. However, the cards here are showing the news is good news. The family believes he's passed, and it appears that, the solution again is that he's deceased, and that the bear or the creature, the Sasquatch, whatever, took him from an outdoor setting where he was quite happy. But this news is good situation. That's kind of what's got me here. Okay. I guess not necessarily good, but the news about Bobby is unpredictable, unknown, just like it says here. Okay, with the unknown, hidden knowledge of the book. I feel like here with the fate line and the key pointing down to the snake is usually a warning of some sort. And I feel like Bobby's family had warnings of some sort, maybe through dreams or something like that. Not to let Bobby go to this tower, or even to warn them perhaps of what was going to happen. But with dreams, obviously, they don't always look like what they're actually meaning. Everything is symbolism. But they sent him anyway to the mountain because he loved it. But something was definitely wrong, and they didn't recognize that. They didn't recognize the warnings that they received, because chances are, because it was fated. It was meant to happen the way that it did. It was a part of what I term the life contract that a person has before they're ever born. The plan that they create for their life before they're ever born. So I do believe in this case that Bobby was taken by a bear. And, maybe when the bear was finished with him, or had done whatever the bear is going to do to him, that it drug him, or something else drug him up to that spot that was really hard to get to, where they found his hearing aid and bits of clothing and some bones. It might not have been the bear that took him up. Some other animal might have taken that. It could have been scavengers. It's hard to say. But I do believe that that is what happened to Bobby. There was nothing supernatural about it, so to speak, other than, like I said, I believe that this was the way Bobby's life was planned before his birth. He contracted to go out at age 10. So this is what I get from this Method of Distance Grand Tableau. I'm not a super seasoned reader, so I would very much appreciate input from people who have read Lenormand for a long time, or even those who are learning as I am. That would be fantastic if you'd share in the comments what your thoughts are on this layout. So that is it for this time. Until next time, take care.